Et bonjour à tous, c'est Itakos, on se retrouve pour un nouvel épisode sur The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe Edition. Et on continue pour les fins bonus avec le saut. Ok, maintenant on va décrocher le téléphone.
But Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be.
C'est encore différent là.
And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was this... No, never mind. The bucket was wrong.
J'aime bien ce délire avec le saut qui est un démon. Il faudra qu'on fasse celle-là.
No, said the bucket. Don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else.
Allons voir ma femme. Échappons-nous avec le saut.
Good, said the bucket. Now ride the lift all the way to the top. There's something up there I need you to do. Stanley did not question why or how this bucket was speaking to him. It should have alarmed him, of course, because buckets can't talk. But Stanley chose not to think about this.
Je me demande ce que ça fait quand je prends le saut et que je fais la fin où il faut que quand je saute avec la musique de fin Bravo t'y es arrivé, quand j'arrive en bas de la salle de contrôle mental. J'ai envie de savoir.
In here, said the bucket. Go into this dark room over here. Stanley once again obeyed blindly. Now pick up the phone. This is the sad story of a man named Stanley and his bucket. Once upon a time, I gave Stanley a bucket because I thought he was lonely and could use a friend. And then, very distressingly, he began to believe the bucket could speak to him.
Oh, bah mon appart il est mieux comme ça. Hein. Oh, trop. Oh, j'aimerais trop avoir un appart comme ça. Oh là là. Oh, tellement d'espace. Ok, le saut peut me parler. Ah, il est là. Bonjour Stanley, c'est moi ton saut. Ah, puis déjà, je peux m'emmener au travail avec toi. Ok.
The Stanley Parable Reassurance Bucket was merely meant to provide the comforting glow of companionship. It doesn't literally talk.
Le stream a crash?
Whatever Stanley is hearing the bucket say to him is just in his head.
Le stream a crash? Non. Attends, je vérifie. Non, ok, c'est bon. J'ai peur. Un bug de 3 secondes. Ok, bon, c'est pas grave. Et on continue. Continue. Il est où mon saut? Ah, c'est mon bureau là. Yeah. Appuie sur X pour me ramener à la maison avec toi, Stanley.
Lately, I've been concerned about him. Wouldn't you be concerned as well? To see him delusional like this, obsessing over an inanimate metal object? I want to say something to him, but I don't know how I can convince him. I don't know if he'll listen to me.
Pour retourner au travail avec moi, Stanley.
Try anyway. Stanley, can you hear me? Listen to me. It's just a
je peux
bucket.
pas. Oh non, je peux pas faire cette fin-là.
It can't talk. All it will ever truly do for you is effectively transfer a liquid from one location to a different location. That's it. It doesn't do anything else.
Ne les écoute pas, Stanley. Je suis vivant, je suis là pour t'aider. Stanley. N'écoute pas la grande bouche, appuie sur G pour qu'on rentre à la maison. La maison. Oh, wow.
You see, he's not listening. He's still taking orders from the bucket. You know, once upon a time, it was me he took orders from. Me he trusted and listened to. Now all he cares about is his awful bucket. This stupid hunk of metal.
Ok. Pour ignorer tout le monde dans ta vie sauf moi. Appuie sur T pour ignorer tout le monde dans ta vie sauf moi, Stanley. Je suis ton sang. Voilà, j'ai fini pour toi.
I suppose he doesn't need me anymore. From now on, he's just going to cling to this bucket, this cold, empty bucket, this sort of shiny bucket. Well, I'll give it this. The bucket does have a nice
Non, lui aussi, il se fait contrôler mentalement par le seau. Tout le monde est contrôlé par le seau. Le seau est omnipotent. Tu sais que j'appuie, c'est pas vrai, Stanley. Appuie sur M pour entrer à la maison.
Yes, I suppose on closer inspection that it doesn't quite look like your average hardware store bucket. It's just a little more, what am I trying to say?
Special.
Sturdier, more capable of transporting
Plus
liquid.
capable de transporter
Like
du
it would
liquide.
be better at moving an amount of water from one room to another.
Il est meilleur que les autres sauts.
Oui, je suis mieux que les autres, Stanley.
Appuie sur K.
Appuie sur K pour revivre cette journée avec moi encore et encore, Stanley.
Oh my God, what am I saying? Better at carrying water from room to room. It's a bucket. It's literally just a bucket. Why
Voilà.
do I feel some need to point out the ways in which it's so much more than just a regular bucket?
Oula, l'obsession du saut.
Appuie sur G pour rentrer à la maison, retourner au travail. À la maison, au travail.
Oh.
I'm having feelings. The bucket.
Oh, dis-moi qu'il est dans mon lit. Oh, je suis sûr qu'il est dans mon lit.
Why do I want to be with the bucket? Hear what the bucket has to say. Do anything it asks. What's wrong with me? I don't understand. Perhaps if I had the bucket, this would be less confusing. Yes, the bucket could tell me what to do in this troublesome
oui, il
situation.
serait là pour m'aider. Oh oui, viens le saut. Pourquoi il y en a dans une... Ah, pour pas mettre le feu au parquet, évidemment. Oh la vache. Je passe la soirée de Saint-Valentin avec le saut. Viens là.
Stanley, give me
No.
the bucket. Give it to me. Give me the
À moi.
bucket, Stanley. I
À moi.
need it. Give it to me now. Give it or
Mon
I'll...
précieux!
C'est littéralement l'anneau unique.
Retourne au travail, Stanley.
Ok. Ouais, t'es pas mal. Ça a été chouette.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it
Ah,
mean?
tiens, c'est nouveau sur la gauche.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Ok.
A good bucket, a strong bucket, a humble bucket,
Humble
a
bucket.
committed bucket, a bucket
Oh,
of
mais je peux peut-être
culture
faire la
and
fin. Ah, il faudra que je
history.
teste de faire. Ah non, ça m'a refermé la porte cette fois. Il faudra que je teste de faire la. Il a pas invoqué Satan. Mais non, il va coucher avec le seau parce que le seau, il a des sentiments envers le seau. Et le seau est tout ce qui compte pour lui. Il faut que j'essaie d'un moment de voir si je peux revenir dans mon bureau.
Stanley clutched the bucket
pour faire la fin
tightly
des
to his
boutons.
chest and entered that this was not the correct way to the meeting
La fin
room.
du paradis
But
avec
Stanley
le.
had felt the bucket calling to him,
J'ai
telling
tellement
him
hâte de savoir
that the
toutes les bonnes fins,
employee
comment
lounge
les.
was
Qu'est-ce que ça
simply
donne.
the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? No, never mind.
Ok, maintenant je peux aller à gauche là.
Wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the... And so the two of them detoured through the maintenance section and walked straight ahead to the opposite door.
Qu'est-ce que ça va faire ici? Je me souviens plus quelle fin c'est ça à l'origine.
Oh, good Stanley. I'm glad you found
Ah.
your way here. I
Parfait.
knew you'd find this place eventually.
What the fuck? Oh, il y a la ligne! Tu comptes pour nous, Stanley.
You see, your friends and I are concerned for you,
La
Stanley.
ligne.
We've come together
TM,
here because we
remarque.
care about you very much.
Mais
It's
c'est toutes
this
les fins!
bucket you're carrying around everywhere.
Oui.
The bucket isn't even from the original Stanley Parable. It's just sequel content.
Oui,
We're
tout
the
le-
ones that matter, Stanley. Classic characters from the first game, like the Adventure Line
Oui,
and the
Adventure
Broom
Line.
Closet. Because
Le
that's what
placard.
fans want from a sequel. They want more of their favorite jokes, not this bucket that they've never seen before. Yes, I know I'm the one who
Ah, ça,
gave
c'est la
you the
serious
bucket,
ending.
but you're spending too much time with it. Don't you want another story involving the Adventure Line?
Bon, je veux
We
bien,
could
moi.
make the Adventure Line go somewhere new.
Oui,
Yes,
la ligne
yes,
et la
that's what
musique.
the fans want. Let's do it.
Oui. J'adore l'Adventure Line. Oh, ok. Oh, il y a des problèmes de connexion. Ouais, l'Adventure Line, plus l'Adventure Line. Et la musique. J'espère qu'il va remettre la musique.
Whee! Look at that wacky line. Who knows where it'll go off to next? Oh, and it played some silly music as well.
Oui. 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 Ta 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 ta. Et la fougère.
Now this
Oh,
is
no.
what the Stanley Parable is all
Exactement.
about. Don't you remember all those great jokes from the original dialogue? Also, Stanley is addicted to drugs and hookers.
Ah, attends, je me souviens plus de ça.
It's as classic now as it was back then. Let's do it for the fans, Stanley. Let's give them more content exactly like this.
Ok.
But if we want to do that, you're going to have to give something up.
Quoi? Quoi? Et oui, j'ai compris, c'était toutes les fins. Oh, j'adore. Oh, la musique, elle est tellement bien, la musique de la. Faudrait que je la trouve sur YouTube. Qu'est-ce que je dois abandonner? Mon âme?
Don't you get it, Stanley? We need to get rid of the bucket.
Non.
That's why I'm very proud to introduce a brand new character.
Oh.
This is the Bucket Destroyer.
Non. Non.
I think it'll make a wonderful new addition to the rich
Portal 1.
lore of the Stanley Parable.
On doit tuer le compagnon
also was
cube.
not in the original game, but it's such a well-fleshed-out character with so much personality that to me it already feels as though it's been part of the cast all along. Don't you agree?
Non. Non.
Can you guess what the Bucket Destroyer does? Surely you don't need me to spell it out for you.
Non, je
Go ahead now,
refuse.
Stanley.
Je refuse.
Say goodbye to the bucket, and then pop it into the machine when you're ready.
Je refuse. C'est mon ami.
Il est à moi. C'est mon précieux.
Je suppose que je suis obligé de le faire, mais... Non. Mon précieux.
Now listen to me. It's crucial that you give it the bucket. I don't know what the Bucket Destroyer will do if it can't destroy your bucket. Destroying buckets is all it knows. That is its singular personality trait. Sure, I can hear you saying, how does a character with only one personality trait deserve to join the pantheon of beloved Stanley Parable characters? Well, you see, if you were to really explore the Bucket Destroyer, you would see that its desire to crush buckets is so densely loaded with complexity and nuance that it's really like 10 personality traits. What other object in this game can you even say that about? The broom closet? Certainly not. I wonder what sort of Bucket Destroyer merchandise the fans will be clamoring for after this. Okay, the Bucket Destroyer is getting very upset now. You'll have to hurry and feed it. We can't get back to the classic Stanley Parable characters like the Adventure Line or the Bucket Destroyer until you crush that damn bucket. Quickly now, the fans are waiting. Do it, the fans, Stanley. Give the fans what they want. Hurry and...
Ah, flashbang. Oh.
The Bucket Destroyer, my prized creation. You had so much potential. We were going to do such marvelous things with you, tell such spellbinding stories about you. All of it squandered now. Goodbye, new friend. For the moment in time that you were here, you were magnificent.
Oh. C'est la fin Halo. La fin destructeur de sceaux oublié dans l'univers de Halo. Ok, bah c'est-à-dire qu'on a une autre fin. Allez, toujours plus de fins.
Just a step through this door, Stanley thought to himself. That's all
Est-ce que ça va me refermer la porte?
Make it through this door, I can make it through them all.
Ok, ça va pas refermer. Est-ce que je peux rentrer? Ah non, attends, qu'est-ce que je voulais faire? Ah oui, revenir. Ah, je peux pas. Il me laisse pas faire la fin du paradis avec. Non. Tant pis. Je vais faire la fin du paradis avec.
Stanley clung the bucket to his cheek. Could his co-workers really all be gone? Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his cheek. This was not the correct way to the meeting room.
Ok, cette fois on va lui donner on va pouvoir réécouter la musique de la ligne.
That the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct?
Ouais, ça va être plus rapide. Je pense qu'il nous reste encore 2 épisodes, 2 ou 3 épisodes et puis avec le saut ça va plus vite.
To go back to them, and so the two of them detoured through the maintenance section and walked straight ahead to the opposite door.
De la musique de Halo dans la tête maintenant.
Oh, good Stanley, I'm glad you found your way here. I knew you'd find this place eventually.
Il y a ma femme et tout. Je sais pas ce qu'il y a d'autre comme fin, parce que ça, je sais pas à quoi ça correspond. Ça. Ah oui.
We've come together here because we care about you very much. It's this
le bébé, j'adore cette fin. Regarde comme il est mignon.
The bucket isn't even from the original Stanley Parable. It's just sequel content. We're the ones that matter, Stanley. Classic characters from the first game, like the Adventure Line and the Broom Closet. Because that's what fans want from a sequel. They want more of their favorite jokes, not this bucket that they've never seen before.
Je me demande si on peut rester ici.
Yes, I know I'm the one who gave you the bucket, but you're spending too much time with it. Don't you want another story involving the Adventure Line? We could make the Adventure Line go somewhere new. Yes, yes, that's what the fans want. Let's do it.
Juste là. Bon, je pense pas que.
Whee! Look at that wacky line. Who knows where it'll go off to next? Oh, and it played some silly music as well. Now this is what the Stanley Parable is all about. Don't you remember all those great jokes from the original dialogue? Also, Stanley is addicted to drugs
and hookers. C'est trop drôle, je ne souvenais plus de ça. Je crois qu'il y a une fin où il dit ça, ouais. La fin où il nous déteste. Il y a une fin où il veut nous voir morts, où il nous déteste et il dit ça. Et du coup, il finit par dire ça. Bon, Stanley est une personne détestable et puis il a accro drogue au pute.
This is the Bucket Destroyer. I think it'll make a wonderful
très
new
précis
addition
comme
to the
machine,
rich
comme
lore of the
personnage.
Stanley
Il y a
Parable.
littéralement une machine pour détruire, mais
It
des
also was
sauts.
not in the original game, but it's such a well fleshed out character with so much personality that to me it already feels as though it's been part of the cast all along. Don't you agree?
Donc c'est un Stanley Parable 3 avec
Can you
ce
guess what the
personnage.
Bucket Destroyer does? Surely you don't need me to spell it out for you. Go ahead now, Stanley. Say goodbye to the bucket.
Oh non, je
and
le
then pop it
regarde.
into the machine when you're ready.
Ah, il veut pas?
Now listen to me.
Il veut pas?
It's crucial that you give it the bucket. I don't
Oh non,
know
je le
what the
tiens.
bucket destroyer will do if it can't destroy
Oh non,
your
ça c'est pas
bucket.
une fin, je peux pas le
Destroying
déposer.
buckets is all it knows. That is its singular personality.
Ça le
trait.
refuse.
Sure, I can hear you
Il
saying,
le
how does
regarde.
a character with only one
Ah
personality trait
mince.
deserve
Bon bah
to
je vais
join the
reset alors. Bon bah
pantheon
c'est
of
pas une autre
beloved
fin en fait.
Stanley Parable characters?
Ok.
When you
Ok, en fait on ne peut pas donner le saut. Bon, ça c'est bon à savoir. Hop. Dommage que la porte se ferme.
Just a step through this door, Stanley thought to himself. That's all I need. If I can make it through this door, the bucket made Stanley want to be a better man.
Ok, on a fait toutes les fins, de nouveau les fins avec le saut de droite. Donc maintenant on peut aller par là.
Tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
Il faut continuer. Ça fait un bruit d'avion. D'accord. Bizarre.
Still no one was here. Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever.
Et du coup ça.
Perhaps his boss's office was where he'd find answers. Oh, Stanley, can you feel it?
Oui.
The broom closet. It wants the bucket.
Non.
You can feel that, can't you? The aura of jealousy.
Non,
It's as
c'est mon
clear
saut.
as day. This
Ah,
broom
ouais.
closet believes it deserves the bucket. I can really feel it now. It's a
Ah.
bucket. It belongs in a broom closet. That's what
Ah,
the
j'avoue, en
broom
plus.
closet is trying to say here. It's supposed to go with the other cleaning supplies. Good for you, Stanley. Don't give in. Don't hand over the bucket. I know how hard it must be, given the pressure that the broom closet is putting on your shoulders right now, but you have to be strong. This is your bucket. This is your companion and
Oui,
lifelong
il est à
friend.
moi. Je le garderai.
Can't hand it over. Oh,
Non,
no.
non.
We're getting into name calling now, it seems. Is this how low the broom closet has sunk that it has to
C'est pas
resort
vrai.
to this stream of petty insults simply in
Comment
order to
style?
get you to hand over the bucket? Stanley, I never liked this broom closet for a variety of reasons, but even this is worse than I had
C'est
imagined.
vraiment un enfoiré ça.
Wait,
Le
now the
carabalé.
broom closet has the gall to imply that you and the bucket are not truly deep and lasting friends?
Comment il
That your
ose?
relationship is purely superficial and convenient? That your life is so banal and meaningless that you'd feel the same sort of
Il essaie
kinship
vraiment de faire
towards
sortir
any
de ça.
inanimate object which happened to lay in your path in an even partially enticing manner? Well, I've never. Go on, Stanley.
Ouais,
Lay into it. Really tell the broom closet off for its
Vilain.
demeaning comments.
Vilain.
Expand on the wide variety of experiences you and the bucket have shared together.
on a
Go
marqué
through
dans le
each
couloir.
of them point by point. Share your journal entries detailing the rich emotional landscape of your feelings for the bucket as they have changed and evolved over the years. Let him have it.
C'est-à-dire que je peux pas trop parler en tant que Stanley, donc c'est tout?
Okay,
Ah, okay.
I've got you something which I think will help settle this debate once and for all. Here we go.
Ah oui,
There.
propriété
Now it's
Stanley.
settled. No more
Oh,
debate,
tu crois que j'aurais ça
no
pour
more
toutes les fins maintenant?
discussion. Take a hike, broom closet, with all your meandering philosophical
de Stanley.
diatribes about the nature of cleaning supplies and their relationship to broom closets in the natural order of things.
Yes. Ok. Et maintenant j'ai ça sur mon seau. Ouh.
All right, I've got a second sticker back here,
encore
and I'm
plus.
going to slap it on as well because I think it's appropriate. You see, I feel that it works because the sticker is also
oui,
a
c'est
bucket.
Sauception.
That way, if you're ever unsure whether the thing you're holding is a bucket or not, you can look down at this sticker and say to yourself,
Comme ça, je suis
it's
sûr
a
que c'est un
bucket.
seau. Oui, parce qu'il y a un autocollant dessous.
There really is a wide variety
Ouais.
of applications
Logique.
for this sticker.
En effet, c'est pratique, hein. Heureusement qu'il l'a mis. Sinon, j'aurais jamais su que c'était un seau, ou j'aurais eu un doute en tout cas.
You know what? I could take the name calling and the dismissal of your kinship with the bucket, but now the broom closet is just giving us the silent treatment. And to be honest, I'm sick of the pettiness on display. You can stay here all you like, but I've had it with this impetulant room of cleaning supplies. Easily the most childish such room I've ever been in. I'll see you outside, and we can get on with the story about you and your bucket.
On entend vraiment se barrer en stéréo. Trop drôle. Bon, je suppose que c'est la fin. Attends 2 secondes. Je me demande si maintenant le seau aura toujours les autocollants. Ouais, allez. Parti. Ok, on va en bas.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the
On a la fin de Mariella. La fin de la folie. On va voir ce que ça donne avec le seau.
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that.
Oh, ouais.
And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy.
C'est vrai.
And then, something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy.
Pour l'instant, c'est la
He
même fin,
looked
non?
down at
Ah
the
non, le
bucket
seau.
in his
Ok.
arms. Am I crazy?
Est-ce que je suis fou, monsieur le seau?
The bucket returned his gaze, but said
Le seau lui
nothing.
rendit son regard.
That's strange, Stanley thought. Usually the bucket is a source of guidance and wisdom for me in difficult times such as these. He held the bucket close, yet felt none of its familiar reassurance and comfort.
La magie
And
du
that's
seau
when
est
Stanley
terminée.
realized, this isn't my bucket. It's just
Non.
a normal,
Mais il y a mon nom
everyday
dessus.
someone else's bucket, perhaps. How did I end up with someone else's bucket? This is all terribly wrong. Surely no good would come from
Mon seau.
this. Who knows what sorts of bizarre
jeté mon seau.
hallucinations Stanley might experience without the psychologically grounding presence of his bucket. And indeed, now he noticed that the rooms were repeating, which was, of course, very odd.
Oui.
And now he felt himself floating off the ground.
Oh, ça reprend.
Gracious, he exclaimed. Without my bucket, I've gone truly mad.
Oui.
Where is it? I must
Il
find
faut que je
it.
retrouve mon seau.
Far off in the distance now, he heard it, calling to
Oh
him.
non, le seau m'appelle.
Stanley! Stanley, it's me! The bucket!
The bucket.
Could it truly be? He rushed forward
Oh,
from
il y en a
room to
plein.
room, passing by one bucket after the next. None of them were his. None of them were his special bucket. Come to me, Stanley!
Oh, putain.
Find me!
C'est
He
horrible.
had to find the bucket. He had to return to his old friend. It was the only way to truly restore his sanity. And then
Ew.
suddenly, he froze dead in his tracks. He knew where the voice of the bucket had been coming from. The real bucket was inside of him all along. It was incredibly painful. Stanley doubled over in agony
Non.
and blacked out.
Il s'est ouvert le ventre? Parce qu'il croyait qu'il avait un
This
seau à
is the
l'intérieur?
story of a woman named Mariella. Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, picked up her bucket of comfort and security, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town, talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. Right away, she knew what the problem was.
Il avait pas son seau.
This man had
Voilà.
no bucket.
Ah oui.
Of course he'd gone mad, ranting and raving about a narrator describing all of his actions and how everything is predetermined and free will is an illusion and it's all just a video game. It could all have been prevented if only he'd taken his bucket with him.
Comme quoi, toujours avoir un seau avec
He
soi.
didn't even realize he'd forgotten his bucket at home in the first place. How cruel the world can be, Mariella thought, and she
Oh,
hugged her
Mariella.
own bucket even tighter. But of course, she had no time for this. There were a myriad of confusing problems she would soon have to confront at work. for which her bucket would provide absolute guidance and total clarity on everything. Heck yes, she thought to herself. My life kicks
Oui,
ass.
j'ai mon seau.
And she
Kicks ass.
backflipped all the way to work.
Ok, en fait c'est vraiment une nouvelle version de la fin quoi. Ok, on fait encore une fin pour cet épisode. J'aurais vraiment aimé voir la fin du paradis avec là.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
On va essayer de faire du
Stanley
coup...
decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had said, not everyone is so lucky to have a bucket, but Stanley is a very lucky fellow. Very lucky.
Bonjour. Ok. Il y a tellement de versions différentes des bureaux.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest.
Ok, là on va monter. On va... Bah tiens, pour finir, j'ai envie de faire à la fin où on saute de la truc de contrôle mental.
Perhaps his boss's office was where he'd coming to a staircase. Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's
On est vraiment à la fin, il aurait genre 4 fins, un truc comme ça, même pas. Ah, je me demande ce que ça fait si je suis dans les... Non, ça va rien faire, c'est pas une fin ça. Il vient si je viens ici avec le saut. Non. Ça aurait été trop bien, genre qu'on trouve des sauts un peu partout maintenant qu'on a fait cette fin.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned.
Eh ben il y a la fin normale aussi à refaire avec le saut.
Crushed by the weight of this revelation, Stanley may have broken down into an emotional dumpster fire, if not for the soothing presence of the bucket. Even now, in his darkest of hours, did the bucket's warmth and guiding light pierce the dark clouds of confusion and chaos.
Oui,
It would be with him, always. The bucket would.
Oui.
And he knew it.
Le saut était avec moi.
The two of them were
8, 4, 5,
inseparable. At this point, Stanley was so absorbed in the tender spiritual connection he shared with the bucket that he didn't notice the keypad behind the boss's desk. Nor in his bliss of simply being near the bucket did he have any notion that the pin number for the keypad was 2845.
Qu'est-ce que ça fait si je le tape pas avec le saut? On va essayer de pas le taper avec le saut. Quoique non, on le fera une autre fois. Je vais voir s'il réagit, si je le fais pas.
Stanley just sat around twiddling his thumbs. Trying to input anything on the device was useless, since he could. But Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along?
Le saut l'avait toujours
Was
connu.
the bucket guiding him?
Oui, le saut me guide.
This is
Oh, et puis il faudra remonter aussi dans l'ascenseur. Il y a tellement de fins. Ok. Donc là, on va essayer de sauter, de faire la fin, parce qu'il ne reste plus beaucoup de temps. Là, techniquement, l'épisode devrait déjà être fini.
The elevator raced downward, plummeting towards an unknown fate. It would be all Stanley could do to keep himself together, if not for the bucket. Soothing him, comforting him,
Il y a même la fin normale qui est
reassuring that in
différente.
this darkest moment of uncertainty,
Le musée,
he
qu'est-ce que c'est
would
la
be
fin du
right.
musée?
The bucket is here for you, Stanley. Everything will be fine.
Le saut va me sauver.
Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read, Mind Control Facility. The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this... But just as Stanley was about to proceed further into the mind control facility, he tripped and fell over the railing and into the dark void below. Thankfully, he fell directly onto the bucket, which safely cushioned his fall. Now, what to do next, Stanley wondered. Stanley and the bucket could find no way out of this enormous pit, and so eventually they decided that the best thing to do would be to simply get comfortable down here. So they set up a little couch and relaxed. It really wasn't so bad down here, a bit cold perhaps. After some time had gone by, they installed a few shelves as well, and a sort of kitchenette that was useful for when the bucket was craving paninis. But it wasn't until the rugs and the standing lamps came in that it really started to feel like a home.
Oui, je vais vivre avec mon saut.
After some time, Stanley realized that it had been ages since he had even thought of the mind control facility at all.
Je vis avec mon saut.
He'd never gotten to fully explore what was up there, never been able to unearth the many mysteries of the mind control facility. This lack of closure began to eat at him. Soon he was dwelling on his regrets, and the state of their home slowly decayed as Stanley became withdrawn and neglected the cleaning.
Mais non!
It unsettled the bucket deeply. Stanley wasn't usually like this. The bucket tried to reach out to him again and again, but to no avail. All Stanley could think about, all he could talk about, was going back, doing it over again, staying on the path. It was a mistake to leave the path. It was a mistake. It was a mistake. I need to do what the narrator says. I need to see the true ending. This made no sense at all to the bucket, which was simply trying to live its life down here as comfortably as possible. Yet Stanley was unconsolable. This isn't an ending. This is just a hole in the ground. The bucket sighed. True, it wasn't an ending. But it's where we happen to be. And maybe, possibly, if we accept
C'est ça en fait le trou sans fin, mais pas vraiment.
Ending eventually. It's what the bucket was counting on. The two of them waited for a very long time.
Quoi? D'accord, ok, ça finit comme ça. Ok, bon. La fin originale était meilleure. Bon, bah j'espère qu'en tout cas cet épisode vous aura plu. C'était Itakos et on se retrouve dans 2 jours pour la suite de ce let's play sur The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe. Allez, tchuss!